Royal Statistical Society is a professional body for statisticians and data scientists and those interested in statistics and data science. We hold an annual international conference every September. That couldn't take place in person, so we had to look at moving it online once it became apparent that it wasn't going to be possible as an in-person event. So I think right from quite early on in the planning process, it became clear that really, although it's a completely different way of delivering the conference, most of the elements were very relatable to how you'd run it as a face-to-face event. And I think just in terms of how you're organising the program, how you're organising the speakers, yes, it's different, but the fundamentals remain the same. The first thing we really noticed was that attendees were engaging more than we possibly anticipated with sort of the chat function on the platform, and I don't know, I suppose it being completely new to running an online conference, I think that's probably one of the things that I was most nervous about, was because possibly nothing worse than the tumbleweed running through a chat box, as nobody asks questions, nobody engages with each other, but right from the start we had people asking without any prompting where other people in the session were from, what their interests were, that sort of thing. And there'd be, during most presentations, there'd be chats going on between attendees about something the speaker had said, or sharing links to research they were aware of, and that sort of thing. So there was really good interaction, possibly more than you would get during an actual session itself, because you wouldn't want to disturb the speaker by talking to the person next to you. I think the other thing we really noticed was the different approaches of the different speakers to presenting online, and it was just as you get in in-person events, often the most confident speakers are possibly the ones that, when it comes to actually dealing with the technology and I suppose flapping around a bit, really you can spot those people, and it was a great variation in terms of how speakers were handling the situation, and it really brought home to us how important it was to do proper technical rehearsals with all of the speakers, regardless of how much they told us they didn't need a rehearsal. Often they were the ones where you thought, actually, no, they do, because there's overconfidence there. And I think it's one thing I take forward is actually being more insistent with all the speakers to say, look, we need to do a 5-minute run through with you in advance to check that you know how to share your screen, you know how to mute your mic, and all those very basic fundamentals. In the same way that you in an in-person event, you really want your speaker to get there early before the session starts so you can run through all those things. But it was interesting. It's very much though the people who possibly overconfident had the most problems in delivering their talks. I think connected to that is the really the role of the chair in the sessions. And I think sometimes in an in-person conference, the chairs can be possibly organised rather late, and can be a bit frantic in terms of who's actually going to be chairing particular sessions. Really, we learned with the online conference that a chair can really make or break how successful the session is, both in terms of how they're handling any problems that occur with speakers, but also in really driving the discussion that is really the making of the session. Again, it's about dedicated time to rehearse your chair and the technical team. And in a similar way that in an in-person event, you really want your chair to turn up early, speak to all the speakers, check with the technician in the room. It's a very similar but really key thing to remember in delivering online events. For a first time attempt at this, at moving the conference online, I think it worked out probably better than we'd imagined. We had 540 registered participants, which compared with 550 the previous year when it had been an in-person event. So we're really happy that we managed to keep the numbers fairly steady, and we had really brilliant feedback from people who participated. We do when we do the feedback survey, we ask people to rate things, excellent, good, etc. And 90% of those responding said that the overall conference, they'd rate it either excellent or good.